Hi, I'm Veronica Drake, and I'm going to talk to you about a topic today that most people are fascinated with, but most people shy away from, and that is the topic of death. Now, by title, I am an intuitive. I do see things, feel things, hear things, know things, and I guess another part of that title would be a medium. And a medium feels, sees, connects, communicates with spirits from the other side. I didn't set out to be this person. I truthfully don't even know how I am this person. It's just something that has happened, and I want to be completely clear and transparent about what does happen. So let me back up and start with a story that happened when I was 25 years old. I'm 55, and this is a true life experience for me. I lost my grandfather when I was 25 years old. And I was very close to my grandfather. He was essentially a second father to me. I was raised with my grandparents, and I was very emotional at losing him, as you can imagine. I was 6 months pregnant with my second son. My life was in turmoil at that time. And this man that I loved more than anything left us very suddenly. In fact, he was eating a bowl of ice cream, put the ice cream down, and just decided to go home. My brother was with him. I did not get a call until several hours later. And the truth is, I was impacted in such a way that I do believe it brought out my ability to see, hear, feel, and connect with the other side. Because prior to that, I didn't ever do that. I couldn't sleep. I was hysterical. I was crying nonstop, and I couldn't go to bed. I was on my couch downstairs in my house and was trying to go to sleep. Knowing I had this life growing in me, knowing I needed to care for myself, but yet just so overcome with grief. And so I lay on the couch, and out of nowhere appeared my grandfather. And I know I was wide awake. He stood at the foot of my couch, and he appeared as he did when he was about 30 years old, maybe 28, 29, 30 years old. He had a military uniform on with the hat and all. And I didn't know that grandfather. I didn't know that piece of him. And so I knew the face, I saw the uniform, and he talked to me. He heard, "It's okay, I'm at peace. Take care of your grandmother and take care of yourself." And with that, he was gone. And almost immediately, I went to sleep. So that was one experience. Fast forward, maybe 20 years later, I was having dinner with friends, and one of the friends brought a friend who was a jewelry maker. And at this time, I had gotten into my spiritual teachings, my spiritual learnings, and I was doing channeling, automatic writing, and I would automatic draw. When I would go into this state, I could draw angels. And so one of the friends that came was a jewelry maker, and she wanted to know if I had any drawings of an angel so that she could create a pin from it. And I still have the pin to this day. So we're sitting there, she's sitting across from me just like this, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, everything got black around her. I mean, completely pitch black. It was though she was outlined, I could still see her, and I got these shivers all over my body. And I looked at her and I said, by chance, are you arguing with somebody? Is there somebody that is giving you resistance? I didn't know where this was going. I had no clue. And the black faded away after a couple of minutes, and we had this dialogue, and she said, "Well, my to-be mother-in-law, she doesn't necessarily agree with me, blah, blah, blah." So anyway, I chalk it up to, okay, maybe that's what it is. So we go on with our dinner. Fast forward a couple of weeks, I get the pin in the mail. She created this beautiful pin and off of my drawing, and she sent it to me. And I sent her back an email thanking her, letting her know how much I appreciated it, and no response. So a couple more weeks went by, and I got a response from her fiance letting me know that she was tragically killed in a car crash. So what I was seeing was death for her. Now, I have asked never to see death again. I don't want to see death. I don't want to know. I don't know the ins and outs of it. I just say, no, I don't want to see it. So here we go. Fast forward. Another story of death for me. My husband and I took on caregiving roles, primarily my husband, but I was in the home for his elderly and aging parents who were sick. His mother, who passed away 5 years ago, died at home, and she was on hospice, and I was with her in her room, and not when she passed, but I was with her in her room 2 days and the day before she passed, and she would look off, and it would be to the left, and she would see visions, and she would name names of people that have crossed over. She would see them. And I, of course, didn't know who they were. I called my husband and I said, who's your mom talking about? Now, mind you, she was conscious. She was awake. And yet she traveled between these two worlds, knowing who I was, and then going back to talk to her friend Sadie, who had the yellow hat on. And, she introduced me to this little boy in the corner who was a young child who died at a very young age. And come to find out, all of these people were significant and were in her life, and she knew them. And so 2 days later, she had passed away. And another story in this very room where I am was my father-in-law's bedroom. He was 96 years old. He passed away 2 years ago. And he was lying in the bed, and he was looking at me, and he was making eye contact with me, and I was talking to him, and I could feel him squeeze my hand, and he would talk, but it wasn't anything that I really understood, except in hindsight. And also, he would look off to the left, and he would be focused intently, looking off to the left, as if there was something very intense happening for him there. He couldn't take his eyes off of it. And so after about 10 minutes of that, he brought his eyes back to mine. He locked eyes with me. It was like I heard, I'm going home now. And with that, his hand released from mine. He looked off to the left, and I can still remember the intense feeling of the energy of his soul crossing over. It was like it would lifted out of his body and swoosh past me, and off it went. And he was gone. And I remember having these incredible chills about the energy leaving. And this has only deepened my curiosity and my commitment to delivering accurate messages from the other side to the best of my ability. And what you need to understand about delivering these messages is I'm not the expert. I don't understand how it works, except for how it works for me. And when I can hear the other side and see the other side, it's just this incredible experience of walking in two worlds. And while I can't explain the technicalities to you, I can tell you that I get validation in the sense that the spirit always allows me to speak with authority and integrity to bring closure to these people who are grieving and whose hearts hurt. And so that's my story with death. That's what I understand about it. And I am committed to bringing more comfort and more peace to people who struggle with loss. So I hope that this helps you understand things in a different capacity. And please feel free to leave me your stories on death. I'm interested in how it unfolds for you.